And good afternoon. This is Tom Pope. For some of you, it's blast from the past. Um, and some of you want to know what I've been doing. I'll tell you that. But right now, I'm here at TV 33 WHPR, and I was here to visit RJ. And then we were walking down the hallway, and he said, "Let's swing into the studio." So we swing into the studio. And if you'd like to talk for a little bit, you know the numbers 313 868 0342, 0351, or 4336. If you want to know what I've been doing, if you want to talk about current events. And I certainly welcome your phone calls today. And there may be some of you who don't know who I am or my history with TV 33, but I still welcome your thoughts. I'm here visiting from Washington, D.C., and there's been a lot that has happened over the years since you and I have talked daily on a regular basis. There are a lot of current affairs that people want to talk about, and I see the lines are starting to light up, so y'all bear with me as I work these phones right here. Good day and welcome to TV 33. Who do I have the pleasure of talking with?
Good afternoon. This is Mr. D, and I'm so glad to see you, my brother. It's unbelievable. I had just got in, and a friend of mine had left me a message saying that you were going to be on the air. And wow, we go back a long ways. I used to be one of the callers that would call into your show, and you really open up so many avenues of knowledge for me. And I just wanted to personally thank you. And I remember when you guys had that conference down at Cobo, and you brought in some of the great minds from all over the country, and it was so inspirational. And so many things that you did as far as black empowerment. You introduced so many people to Dr. Claude Anderson and people like that. So I just wanted to personally thank you for all your service. I remember when you were on another station and they pulled some shenanigans and, knocked you off the air.
Anyhow, go ahead.
I remember this national syndicated guy left you hanging. So,
wow, wait a minute, hold up.
We go back 20-some years.
You know my story.
It was the TPT network. And oh man, it's just great to see you. How long are you going to be in the area?
I'll be leaving later on this afternoon, but this is my first visit back, and I came out to visit with RJ and his staff, and we've been talking over the phone, and he said, "Tom, you got to come and see what we're doing." And let me tell you, as I travel across not only this country, but the globe, you are truly blessed here in the Detroit area, and then those across the country who are looking at the programming that's streamed either on radio or TV. You guys are blessed to have TV 33 here. The dedicated staff who are here working in conjunction with RJ, because this is a rarity. This is not happening across the country. And people don't have the level of access to media that you guys have here.
Take it for granted. Just to see the way the station has progressed from TV 60, even when it was on the radio, and I used to have to position my antenna in a certain position to pick it up. I mean, it's just expanded exponentially, and it's just great. But it's just great to see you. What are you doing in D.C.? Are you still involved?
I've been writing a lot of commercials. I've been producing a lot of videos. I've been studying extremely hard. My mind right now as sharp as it's ever been, and I've been waiting for God to reveal to me the next thing that I'm going to do, and I'm not going to announce it today, but stay tuned, and I will be announcing shortly the direction that I'm moving in. Sometimes you have to step back for a moment to regroup so that you can move forward and be at the top of your game, and to also be able to interpret events that are happening right now that many of our younger listeners, and I'm not saying this in a negative way, don't have the historical perspective. So those of us who do have the historical perspective, we are duty bound to break it down in terms that they can comprehend, and then those who want to listen and not make the mistakes that we made can move forward in the climate that we find ourselves in now.
Well, that's just great. And I just want to give you your accolades right now, because you are one of the pioneers of talk radio from the black perspective, and the sacrifices that you personally made, and when you put yourself on the line to try to uplift and educate our people, it's unprecedented. So I just want to personally thank you for that, and look forward to whatever you get in the future, and hopefully we can have a connection with you here in Detroit.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, then.
Okay. Peace. The number here, 868-0342-0351 or 4336. I was walking by the studio, and before I knew it, I was in here before a camera, and RJ said, go ahead on, talk with the people. So that's what we're here to do. That's what I'm here to do, to talk with you. I've heard a lot of people as it relates to the recent election, and folks are all over the place. And I was thinking for a moment. I went back in history, and some of you have read about World War II. Some of you experienced it. And I thought back to Winston Churchill when he was the Prime Minister of England. And London and parts of the country were bombed daily by the V rockets by Nazi Germany. And they controlled the skies. And in one of his greatest radio broadcasts, Winston Churchill told the English people, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And I've been hearing a lot of people, and rightfully so, apprehensive about what's going to happen come January when Trump formally becomes president. And so the question that I put before some of you now, what are you going to do as it relates to yourself, to your family, to your children? Some, many of whom listen to you, those who don't. But those of you who are experienced in life, what's the next step? Are we just going to sit back and complain and whine? Or do we formulate a plan of action going forward? Let's talk about it. 868-0342-0351, 4336. Many of you are in the church, the mosque, the temple. What are you talking about? How do we move forward in this particular climate in which we find ourselves now? Because the next administration is choosing up sides. They're pulling together their team. The question is, what are you doing? And I know that there are many great people who broadcast over TV 33 and HPR who are serving you on a daily basis, and they've been looking at that. So I'm not bringing anything new to the table, but I want to hear what Detroit has to say. As I travel across the breadth of this nation, I've been gathering information in terms of what we do next. A couple of weeks ago, before the election, had the opportunity to spend the evening with Dr. Claude Anderson. And we talked about the election. We talked about where people are at now. And we talked about what we need to do going forward. So, what are you going to do? Whine and complain? Or do you have a plan of action? And then also for some of you who are sitting around and you're adjusting your dial, is this right? Is that Tom Pope on there? Yes, it's me. I'm back. 313-868-0342, 0351, and 4336. As I look at what's happening here, I got to come back to this. For those of you who have never been in the studio, this is fantastic. The closest that I can see across this country of what compares to what you're doing here would be TV1. And that's basically black owned. BET is black formatted. But to the level of production and quality that's here, sometimes I know some of you take this station for granted. And then I know that there are some of you who are ardent supporters of TV 33. So I want to hear about it. 868-0342. If I flew all the way here from Washington, certainly you can go pick up the phone and give a call. Or was the challenge that I threw out there, was it a little bit too hard? You can tell me. Say, Brother Pope, you came a little bit too hard today. But I know that the folks here at this station, they pitching hard, extremely hard, to keep these airways open for you so that you can come on here and work your plan and do what God has put on your heart to do to bring betterment to this community. 868-0342, 0351, or 4336, and we can talk. So I put the election before us. I put before you, what are you doing in your families? The one of the things, I realized a long time ago, as I was out here trying to save the world and keep the airways open for people to comment about any issues, all the folks that we brought before you over the years, Neely Fuller Jr. I just, I was looking at some of the programs recently that we've done, and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, you remember her? How about Dr. Ben? Huh? All right. All of these giants, many of whom have already made the transition, but we brought to you a long time ago. And their books are still out here. Does anybody remember Dr. Ben? Or am I going back too far? If I'm going back too far, just say, Brother Pope, you're going back too far. But these are the people who have poured into me. One of the historic legacy broadcasters, Brother Bob Law. And the gentleman who called me earlier brought to remembrance that big program we pulled together at Cobo Hall that brought in Dr. Rosie Milligan, Claude Anderson, Bob Law. I mean, the list goes on and on of people who came here. See, there's a reason why we all come to Detroit and still come to Detroit, because there's a spirit in this city that is receptive to that. As you move across the country, everybody doesn't have the basis of thought that you here in Detroit have. And that's why it keeps pulling me back and why I think about this on a regular basis. So, let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome.
Let me turn this thing down so I can hear. That's Tom Pope. I just happened to turn. I said, well, I know they have the kids show on it this time of day. And here's Tom Pope up there. I recognize his voice right away.
And who do I have the pleasure of speaking to? I missed your name coming on.
Oh, I didn't even give it. I'm so excited. Miss Bradley. I'll just say Miss Bradley.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Well, just tell him welcome back. We miss him. We miss him. We miss him. Yes, sir. I'm so glad to see him, and he looks well. And I'm gonna get off this phone so I can hear what he's talking about. And thank you. Is he gonna be on regular?
No, you talking to me. We, just stay tuned. I'm here exploring options today. Okay?
So you say he's not gonna be on regular?
I said I'm here. You talking to me, Tom Pope. I'm here exploring things, but there's nothing worse than a premature revolution. So hang with me.
Hang with you?
Yes.
And so how do I keep up with you if I don't, because something happens and I don't?
Stay in touch
what can
with.
I do whatever.
Stay in touch with TV 33.
33, okay. And I remember Minnie's Pound Cake, and she went out of business over there in Wyoming, and she had some good pound cake too. You tell him he's the reason why I shopped at Minnie's Pound Cake. Tell him that here.
Yeah, you just caused me a flashback.
Okay, God bless.
All right, God bless you. Thank you
bye-bye.
so much. All right, 868-0342. No, you're not dreaming. You're not flashing back. This is me. I'm here live in person. And I'm just happy to be in this beautiful broadcast facility. It's just like, wow, when I see the things that you have here. And some of you guys, I know some of you are taking this stuff for granted. Okay? Move up out of here and go to a great many other cities, and it's not there. Period. That's it. There's a drought out here, and this is an oasis of thought, an oasis of energy. And I looked at the programming guide. They've got some interesting personalities on both radio and TV, and I am amazed. And quiet as kept. I've been out there listening, and I wouldn't be on the air today unless until RJ dropped me in here. So 0342-868-0342, 0351 or 4336, and I'm going to. I've got so many memories that are coming over me right now. Different people whom some have transitioned, some who are not active, some who are retired at this moment, but great folks who came before me in this market in terms of just making things happen. And I'd like to share with you today. But more importantly, I want to know firsthand what y'all here in Detroit and Highland Park, how you guys going to cope with this transition in power? What are the households of faith telling you how to handle this stuff? These are the important issues that we need to be focusing on now. I know some of y'all think about kicking back Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff. Remember, there's a transition team in place, transitioning. So the question is, do you have a transition team in place, and are you prepared to transition? And also to those of you out there who own businesses, are you advertising and supporting these stations? That's the question. Are you still, and I know it's hard. It's hard being in business. But the fact is that if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, the proverbial question in advertising and marketing, does anybody hear it? And that's what's happening with some of you who own businesses who could be advertising here right now, but who are not, figuring that you can't afford to do it. You cannot afford not to do it. So I'd like to hear from some of those persons who are underwriting this station and why. 868-0342-0351 and 4336. I'm gonna tell RJ, I said, man, am I hitting these folks too hard? 'Cause these phones a little silent at this moment. And I know that some of y'all at home right now. You got cell phones with unlimited minutes. So it's not about making the cost of making the phone call. The question is whether or not you jump in. And it'll let me know where y'all at in terms of talk that's going to push the envelope a little more. You don't have to give your real name, but you can call in here and talk about it. Because when I leave out of here, I'm going to another city, and I'm going to talk about the response in Detroit. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm blessed, truly blessed. How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
I didn't get a chance to meet you personally when you were here, but I'm from the metropolitan area. I retired 19 years ago as a U.S. congressional liaison to the White House. I'm just so deeply hurt that the people here do not take their voting privileges as a very, very important issue in their life, a personal issue in their life. I'm disappointed that the churches aren't teaching the people, and they're not taught in the schools about the voting and how important it is. I don't know what to do about it, and I try to tell people that I come in contact with how important it is, but they're going to experience it. And although Hillary Clinton got the most votes, they're going to feel the difference, and this would not have happened if the Lord didn't want it to happen. That's the only peace I get out of this election. But we better beware, save our money, get together, and do what we can to help black businesses, join up together, and just support our churches that are active in their Jerusalem, which is their neighborhood. These churches just get the money and go out and not deal with the neighborhood. They have to deal with their surroundings. So I don't know what to say.
Well, you know what? Let me jump in here and say you said everything that needs to happen. The first thing I always do is turn to my immediate family. I'm at the point in my life where I'm basically the patriarch of my side of the family. My wife, Gwen, is the matriarch of the side of her family. And so therefore we have a grandchild, we have many nieces and nephews, we got sisters and brothers. And so the first thing I did and do is start to minister in my family, to open up eyes and get people to do the very things that you talked about, and you ticked off a list of things that we need to be looking at as we transition into this new administration. And so I think you're on the right path, and you're entitled to be hurt about that. But now we got to move beyond the hurt and support those entities that are doing the right thing in our community.
Step up and do what we have to do to support our interests.
Yep. Okay.
We have to join together in this.
All right.
Good or bad, because some of these white businesses, they're not good, but go back again and give them another chance.
Yep.
Let's work together, get a financial base, and prove economically that we could make it.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
You're quite welcome. Have a blessed morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it. The number here, 868-0342-0351 or 4336. Was anybody touched by just a mention of Dr. Ben? Or are some of you out there, some of the younger viewers saying, who is Dr. Ben? Who was Dr. Frances Cress Welsing? I know I got some scholars out there, so I need for you to get off the sidelines and jump into the mix, because that's what it's all about. It's about educating our current generation. It's about reaffirming to some of our generation who have been retired and on the sidelines and said, I don't put my time in. Yes, you have, but you got to get back in the game. I could have very easily just stayed on the sidelines, but God has moved on my heart to move forward. 868-0342-0351-4336. And the question is, I'd like to hear from some of the folks out there who are advertising and supporting TV 33. In the short time that I have left, we're going to take some calls. We're going to take a break, and then when we come back, I'll squeeze in a few more calls, all right? We'll be right back. And welcome back. We're going to go straight to the phones. Good afternoon. Thank you for holding and being patient. What's on your mind?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Okay, Tom, this is El Marie.
Hey, how you doing, El Marie?
I'm doing great. Someone called me and told me you were on the radio.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so we've been looking for you and wondering where you were. And so I hope you're going to get back over here and help us do one more last hurrah. We need you.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I'll be back. I'm back right now, but yes, out of all that stuff that I mentioned, El Marie, which topic stands out in your mind?
Well, I wasn't able to hear it because I don't have that app on my phone, so I missed that part about it. But the one thing that's standing out in my mind right now about this election is resistance, that we have to stand up and resist and not go along to get along with what's being presented to us. So I'm hoping that this will energize the people that did their protests, not voting or voting, will stand up and understand what we're really up against right now.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I appreciate that. 868, I'm going to move on because I got to take some more calls, okay?
Okay,
and I'll tell
you.
Gwen that I spoke to
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. So, 868-0342-0351-4336. You know I asked the hard questions, okay? So you protested. Now what you going to do? Because you did or did not cast your ballot. So what's next? 868-0342-0351-4336. Is that too hard? That might not be popular, but, I've never sought to be just a popular guy. So, okay, those of you who did the protest vote. Now, what's next? Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hi, Mr. Pope. I was calling in because I just tuned in, but since nobody's calling in, I'm like, okay, let me just say what's on my mind. What's on my mind is that a lot of the leaders that we trusted to lead us deceived us. I mean, there were so many people discouraging people not to vote, telling them there's no point. I'm not talking about everybody because I know somebody's going to call in and say everybody didn't say that, but I hear people who are in leadership who have the platform that have discouraged so many young people not to vote because of what they had, because it was just tainted. I think it was confusing to a lot of people. A lot of people would have voted, and I'm talking about Black Americans, would have voted. But as far as the churches, I don't even trust half of them because they have the platform. They're not doing their job. I have went to a few churches to ask to teach a class. They're not allowing people to come in there and drop knowledge and teach truth because a lot of them are just out for money. I'm not talking about all of them, but a lot of them, they're like wolves in sheep's clothing. So they're not allowing truth to come through Detroit. They're trying to hold on to the reins. And so it's just like a spiritual warfare. There's so much deception. And the people that want to come forth and do something, the powers that be that have the platforms are not allowing it because they want to hold on to the reins and they want to deceive the people. I've seen some bishops and pastors. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I just cannot believe. I don't even want to get into that. I just cannot believe that somebody would have somebody to speak in their church, somebody who never apologized to the people. I'm still not over that because I used to visit that place. I'm not naming any names, but there are people who want to come forth. We're looking for true leaders. There are troops out here waiting, but the true leaders are not coming forth. They're saying get together, get together. Some people don't know how to get together, but they're ready. And people are not the people that have the knowledge. I listen to TV 33 and I learn so much. I thank God for TV 33 and I support TV 33. But we need some true leaders to step up and take the mantle because there are people who look at these people protesting about the election. I'm sure Miss Clinton didn't think she had as much support. She probably felt like nobody cared. But look at the backlash. People love her. I love her. I wish she would have won. And to me, she's still a winner. I still love her. But what I'm saying is just we need some leaders to come forth and do their job.
Okay, well, you're right there, and I'm going to take some more phone calls. Won't you listen to my response, okay? Here's the thing. Yes, we do need leaders. But in the time that I've been off the air, I still talk to people. I still move around. And yes, there are good and bad leaders, but we're in a thing now where you better take care of yourself. That's the first thing. Take care of yourself and your household. And then there are many ways to protest. You can vote with your feet. You can vote by spending your money where you need to spend it where it's going to turn back over to you. And so I still come back to the fact, and I'm not saying this just because I'm sitting here in the studio of TV 33, are you supporting this station so that they can continue to expand and grow? Public TV, they're constantly soliciting your money. And freedom ain't free. So we need for you to step up and support this station. And the other thing is, I know some of y'all shocked, boy, you turn on your TV. What? Tom Pope back? Okay. Well, I never really left. I just wasn't on the air. So I've been doing something different. I've been doing writing, and I'm not plugging my new book, which may be out by Christmas. But the fact is that each of us has a story to tell. And, whether or not you write a book or whatever, we're all duty bound to get out here and tell our stories. And I went to lunch or brunch with RJ, and we were sharing some of the war stories in terms of things that we have done and that we had to go through in order to make sure that airways were open for people. We had a public forum. Whether we agreed or disagreed with what they had to say, the important thing is that you have the forum here. So in the time I'm winding down, I got about 2 or 3 minutes left. There's a couple of things that I want to leave you with. One, support this station. Support the people who are here. Support those programs that are on the air. Because if you think it's bad across the country now, and you think it's bad, here in Detroit or Highland Park where you're at, imagine if there was no TV 33 or 88.1 FM WHPR. Y'all be on the phone just talking to each other, okay? Complaining about how bad it is. This is truly a blessing. That's why I came all the way here today from D.C. to see what God has built up here. And then I had the perspective of looking at the old location. You should see behind the scenes when I said the old location. Everybody went, oh, Lord. Okay? To where we're at now. Man, this is a jewel. And I strongly encourage you to get behind this thing because the best is yet to come. And so with that, I'm going to wind down and say goodbye to you. Thank you for an opportunity to share a little bit with you. And I'll be back. If I had a mic, I'd say pope out and drop it. But I ain't going to tear up no microphones around here. I just say, what? You messing up my microphone? But anyhow, y'all have a blessed day, and I'll talk at you, and I'll see you when I see you. God bless you.